Okay.
was starting. Dang.
You said press the button.
Oh no, I said let me turn the music off.
Right, but before that, you were like, let's get done, let's get done, let's get done.
Okay, no, first of all, I do not sound like that.
Let's get done.
Okay. Okay, hold
Yeah.
on.
Oh, song. You hear me? Ooh. Okay. Welcome back to Girl, She Did That. Welcome back. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to Girl, She Did That podcast with Bree and Sandyyyy.
Yes, and more yes. Okay.
Oh, girl, it's been a minute since we've been on the podcast.
It has, but Christmas break and New Year's, and then you went to Paris. Oui.
Bonjour, madame.
Correct. So, but before we get started, I want to mention about our merch. We do have merch. We have a journal. We have suitcases. We have fanny packs, shower curtain, cups, sweatshirts, and we have an ebook coming soon. So we'll talk more about that at the end. But I wanted to just throw that out at the beginning. So, as we always get started, we are going to start with the honoring the person today that's going to bring us into the episode. So do you want to talk about it? You want me to talk about it?
You go ahead. You would do better.
Thank you.
No problem.
So today we are going to honor Issa Rae. And yes, so we are honoring her because today's podcast is about main character syndrome. And if you follow Issa, you have been inspired by her main character syndrome because she has always lived in her own world and has, sparked creativity in other women, especially Black women. She, is making strides in movies. I know she has a movie, One of Them Days. I have not seen it yet. Have you seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Yeah, I have not seen it yet, but super excited about it. Absolutely an amazing person. Very inspirational.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And we miss Insecure, so please bring it back.
Definitely miss Insecure. It was very rushed at the end.
It was. It was.
And I'm still Team Nate. Anyways.
Not Team Nate.
Yes, Team Nate.
I was definitely.
It's not us for debate.
Okay, I'm definitely still Team Lawrence, but fine.
Not too much.
Okay.
So, anyways, main character syndrome. We have, for those of you all who know what it is, great. But for those of you who don't, so basically, main character syndrome means that you are the main character in your life. And you have basically made everyone else a character in your story. And I think that very often I do adopt the main character syndrome because I just feel like it's the only way to do life.
Mm.
But I also know that when it comes to other people's lives, I'm a character. So I know how it goes. So I'm not the main character in someone else's story. Like, I'm not trying to hold their story hostage because I'm like, oh, well, like, my role is more important than yours. And it's like, nah, like, this is your stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, what character do you want me to play? But when it comes to my story, I'll let you know what character I need for you to play, for sure.
Okay. So, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you navigate relationships with people who don't see your worth or try to dim your light?
I think that when it comes to people seeing my light, I think that I'm kind of outgrowing proving things to people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when it comes to me, if you don't see my light, I'm okay with that. Like, I don't take that as a challenge. I'm not thinking to myself like, oh yeah, like because you don't like me for whatever reason, let me give you a reason. Let me show you my value, my worth. It's just more so of, oh, like you don't see me the way that I see me, so let me just let me make some different decisions and different moves when it comes to people like that. So I don't. That's the way I deal with people.
Hmm.
What about you?
Person. Well, you know, I'm really bad with cutoff, you know.
Like cutting people off?
Yeah, I'm real bad with
That's my specialty.
I mean
I
in essence it's a thinking error. So
graduated in that.
I
Doctorate
we
in it.
we know. We know, but
Support.
I guess at this stage in my life, I really don't care. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I have maintained a lot of different relationships in my life, and at this,
Mm-hmm.
if somebody doesn't see my worth, then I'm not gonna make them see it.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as somebody dimming my light, I don't think I can give somebody that much power to want to dim
Mm-hmm.
my little light. Because like you said, I'm the main character in this story. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't know. I just don't feel like I waste my time with people that's not that I don't feel is worthy or they don't feel that I'm worthy in their lives.
Mm-hmm. True. Okay. I feel you on that one. I definitely feel you on that. I think that I just because my like number one pet peeve is just like somebody trying to intentionally misunderstand me, and I just feel like whatever the reason is that you don't see my light, it I don't know, like I just don't feel like it has anything to do with me.
Mm.
Like it has everything to do with probably your experience with similar light as mine's. And I don't know how that shows up in your life. And I don't think that is my responsibility to try to figure that out. I don't want to do that. Next question. What does it mean to you to be the main character in your life?
What does it mean? I don't know. I guess for me it means showing up for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um doing I've been in this phase the last like month and a half where self-care has become much more important to me, like
Mm-hmm.
actually physically doing things for me and not feeling guilty about doing those things.
Mm-hmm.
So for me in this particular stage in my life, I'm very focused on doing things that mentally make me feel well, if that makes sense. And I feel like when I feel well, then I can perform better as a wife, as a bonus mother, as a boss, as a daughter, sister, like all those different roles, you know, that I play. I feel like that's what it means for me to be a main character. I have to be mentally well before
Mm-hmm.
before I can have anybody else in this story.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I like that.
Mm.
I like that. I think that for me, main character is just basically me showing up as who I am or the future woman that I want to be, like striving for more and for better. Um and even when I don't feel like it, just remembering like that being a reminder like, hey, like you are the one writing the story. You're the one who has control over the narrative over your life. Um and so to me that's just what main character syndrome is that like it's just more so taking control and initiative in your life and not letting someone else influence or tell you who you are.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my next question.
Okay.
When is one moment in your life where you took control and stepped into your power?
I think a time where I took control over my life and stepped into my power was I think when I left Chicago.
Mm. Okay.
I think that's when I had came to a decision that I wasn't happy in my career at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And my lease was up and I had decided that I wasn't going to renew it. And so I, got movers and I didn't, I put in my notice and let them know like, hey, I wasn't renewing, and I just decided to start over my career and start a new career and keep it moving. And that's why I'm in real estate. So I think that that's one of the things that I just kind of just jumped and just took that leap of faith.
Okay. And doing very well at real estate, might we add.
Thank you so much.
Please, if you need a real estate agent in the Georgia, Alabama area, please hit up Brianka Martin. Okay. She is the real estate extraordinaire.
Thank
That's
you.
my plug.
Okay. You?
A moment where I took control and stepped into your power. I feel like I've always done that. I think that's just who I am as a person.
Boom done.
If I see it, I want it. You know what I'm saying? I see it, I want it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like there has been certain phases in life where I've been like, okay, I'm gonna take control, or to step into my power. But I feel like I really stepped into my power like on my wedding day when I think about it, because I felt like I had done everything I had set out to do before I got married, as far as like school and all that stuff and traveling, which I still want to do more traveling. But I felt like once I walked down that aisle, I was like, okay, I have arrived. This is the final stage in the lifespan where, okay, now it's time to grow with somebody else. Don't look at me like that, because you know how I feel about the lifespan. Leave. Lifespan.
Not the lifespan, child. Okay, sorry.
I mean, it's
back to it.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, I feel like I was like, okay, I'm doing something I don't have no playbook for, and ain't no syllabus for this. I just gotta walk into it and figure it out every day, literally.
For sure.
So I think that's a good moment in my life.
Okay. How do you handle criticism or judgment from others while staying true to yourself?
Oh, I think feedback from others, especially those who love you, is very important. I know for me and the husband, we often do love check-ins. And those are good times where we can talk about things that one needs to improve upon. And it might not feel good to hear, but we know that it's out of love, which is why we call it a love check-in. Right. And so even with my friends, I think when they give me feedback about something I need to address, I'm more willing to hear it from them than some outside of my circle, right? Because I know they're doing it out of love. I often feel like if somebody is giving you feedback outside of your circle, I feel like it may be times where they're trying to bring you down or make you look bad. I try to take it, use what I need to improve, and then forget the rest of it. If that is. Because not everybody's feedback or criticisms to you is meant to make you better.
Correct.
Sometimes it's meant to bring you down. But the best thing in all of that is resilience, how you bounce back. So for me, I believe I accept it well. But it has to be done out of love. Can't be anything outside of anything else.
Yeah. I think that for me, it more so I have to be in the space. I have to be in the space for the criticism more so than the judgment. Because all criticism isn't bad, but I think that the spirit of discernment can always guide you and let you know whether that criticism is to be, helpful, or is it to be harmful. But I think that sometimes when you're not in the right place or you don't have the right spirit on you, you can take the criticism harsh than what it was intended to be, because you're not in a particular space to receive it. So I always try to make sure that I have the capacity to even deal with someone else's opinion about what it is that I have said or done.
Yeah.
I think that when it comes to like poor judgment and poor criticism, I think it's more so of, honestly, I feel like when it's something like that, I think that I'm not going to say that it doesn't impact me, but what I do say is that I have really good, solid friends, including you, that I'm like, hey, like, let me run this by you. And like, what do you think? Like, is this like who I am, or whatever the case may be? And, it either gets, validated or it's not. Because sometimes you can walk in this world and think like, oh yeah, I'm this person, I'm that person, I'm this and that, but that may not be how people perceive you. And I think that oftentimes people forget that, like, how you perceive yourself is not always how people perceive you
or experience you.
Yeah, right. Like, people may not experience you in that way. Like, you might think to yourself, oh, I'm a really good friend, and you might be to yourself. Like, it may not be to others. Like, other people may not think that you're a good friend, or you're like, oh yeah, like, when I'm in conflict, or when I'm, having a disagreement with somebody, I keep my cool. I'm calm, cool, and collective. And maybe you're not. Maybe you're not to other people. Maybe it's your tone. Maybe it's the way that you say things, or maybe, you may be calm, but your conversation could be very harmful. So I think that just having those type of conversations with other people who know you, who have experienced you and seen you in different phases of your life, I think those are the people who kind of help me level out the plane and get me back to reality.
I think but this is something that my therapist always says to me. It's a fine line between judgment and
Love and hate. Oh.
No, it's a fine line between judgment and assessment of a person.
Okay, what you mean? What does that mean?
Meaning, you can judge people all day long, but we also need to assess them for how you experience them. So, assessing folks, or are you judging them? Right? If you assessing, then that means that you trying to make things better. If you judging them, then you don't want to make this better.
Got it. So just kind of like, so basically, like, if the difference between trying to understand them versus using this information to just like outcast them, or like put them to the side, like, oh, okay, like, I know this about you, like, I know these things about you, but like, I don't really care for you.
Sure.
Type of thing. I like it. That's interesting. Okay.
Is it my turn again? Okay, this is my last question.
Okay.
How do you stay motivated and focused on your goals when life feels overwhelming? So when you have this main character, right? You in this vibe, you in this thing. How do you stay motivated and focused?
I don't.
Which is true.
I don't.
I am a witness.
World is crashing down. Like, everything is a disaster, right? Might be one of those things I should probably work on. I will definitely allow a problem to consume me, and that's not a good thing, right? But what I will say is that I always end up fighting myself to the top. So it's kind of like I have, and it may be a good thing, maybe a bad thing, I don't know, but my world is that I might plummet down, and then I'm just like, okay, I have to experience all these stages, and experience all aspects of this situation, because I can, when I'm having to tell the story, or when I get to a better place, I can always remind myself, like, hey, Bree, you remember when you were feeling like this? When you go to this if you decide to go back to this situation, just know, can you afford to go back down here again? You have to ask yourself, can you afford to be back in that space? Can you afford to be where you were 6 months ago? Can you afford to be where you were a year ago? You have to ask yourself, do you have the funds, the emotional funds to deal with it? And I think that experiencing those lows when I'm at my high and I feel myself, going down, I can be like, okay, I can't afford it because I've already gotten a taste of better. And so if I keep moving forward to better, it's not to promise that I won't face obstacles, but it is to say that I've hit lows so that I can surpass those obstacles faster. So I just feel like with every personality type, there might be some things that people may not like about themselves, or the way that people handle the situations, other people handle their situations. But I do believe that if you process and you reflect, you can make whatever personality type you are make sense. If you're like, okay, I'm gonna have moments where I hit lows, I gotta make room for that. Like, I don't want to dismiss a part of who I am because it's an inconvenience to someone else. Like, this is just a part of who I am. I know I need this time. But I think that when your world is crashing in, I just have always been big on validating and acknowledging where you are and how you feel. Because when you don't do that, I feel like it just creeps up when you're in your high. You're like, well, why do I feel like this if I've already passed that? I've already done that. I've already been through that phase, but you haven't really been through it. You just kind of like zoom past it, and now it's catching up to you. I just don't want it to catch up to me. Like, let me be in every phase appropriately so that when I'm moving through and navigating through life, I know what direction of what I'm doing because I haven't missed a step or I got to relearn a lesson again. It's like, no, like, I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. And this is just a short phase of my life. This isn't my entire existence. So that's my spiel.
Okay.
My TED Talk.
That's what you gonna be on there one day. We gonna manifest it.
What about you?
Let's see here. What was my question? How do you stay motivated and focus on your goals when life feels overwhelming? Oh, I don't know. Taking it one step at a time. I mean, I really think that this particular season week has been overwhelming, even though I've been on and returning, but I feel as though I literally have to take it one day, 1 second at a time as things come. Otherwise, I do feel that I will become extremely overwhelmed and not be able to focus on the things that I need to get done. I need to just focus on, okay, this is a tomorrow problem, or is it a Monday problem, or is this like a month problem? We could deal with that in a month. Like maybe like triaging something so you don't feel as overwhelmed. Hopeful for me, and that's something that I've recently started doing. Because I feel like I often have to fix things right then and now. I'm learning that things don't always have to be fixed and repaired right then. You could take some time. So that's how I stay focused and motivated.
Okay. So then my last question. What advice would you give someone who's struggling to believe they deserve to be the main character?
You got to remember that you were a girl that did that. You know what I'm saying? I think as women, we always gonna have this struggle of feeling like we're just not enough, right? But at some point, you got to start really focusing in on you and focusing in on like, hey, like I deserve to be the main character in my story. Like I deserve to put myself first. I deserve to have that self-care. I deserve to have that candy bar. I deserve to have that ice cream and that potato chip. You know what I'm saying? I deserve to have those things, right?
You deserve it.
And if you okay, so you done with your concept? Okay. And if you are a woman that's struggling, get you some friends that's gonna hype you up. Like, don't be around other women that's like, girl, you right, we ain't gonna make it, girl. No. You need to be around people that's gonna uplift you and say, you a bad bitch. Okay? You a bad bitch. You a bad bitch. Okay? You need to be around friends like that. Okay? And if you don't have no friends like that, call me and Bree, because we gonna tell you, you a bad bitch. You a bad bitch. You a bad. You a bad. Hey, you a bad bitch. Don't be around don't. I can't stand no stale women that every day is a bad day. Something got to be good about the day. At least,
Mm-hmm.
at least give me one thing about the day. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
That would be what my encouragement words would be.
Yeah, I mean, mine's is kind of on the same lines. I mean, I think that, like it's just very interesting because I remember having a conversation like this with like some other friends, and they were just like, how do you like kind of live that type of life? And I'm just like, I can't necessarily credit all that to me. It really is my environment. Like people seeing things in me that I don't see in myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that your support system is everything. Like
Okay.
it's everything. And I feel like whatever phase of life you're going through, you need your friends, you need your girls, you need, those people who are coming in that's making sense to your life. Cause sometimes it could just be such a whirlwind that you're just like in this like tornado and you just need somebody to like reach out and touch. Somebody's head, make
Make
this
this
world a
world a
better
better
place.
place
Hey,
if you
if
can.
you can. So, I just feel like, that's how I have encouraged people to be the main character in their lives. And also just showing up and being the main character in mine. Like sometimes you can change the atmosphere of a room
Mm-hmm.
just by showing up and being you.
Oh, that's you. We know the night before my wedding,
Gotta be up in that thing.
Everybody was all down, stressed out about
Yeah.
dress. Like, I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening?
I'm like, hey, that's a tomorrow problem.
Okay.
What we doing tonight?
Mm-mm-mm.
What we doing right now? I'm like,
Right
no,
now.
we not. No. Well, since you brought it up, tell the story.
Oh, my dress situation, y'all.
Mm-hmm, girl, tell it. Tell it.
So my dress was not ready.
Mm-hmm.
It was not what I had hoped for. I was extremely disappointed. My cousin, being who she is uh more like my sister, my sister,
Mm-hmm.
she made sure that thing was right. And I was a bit stressed because everything else had went so smoothly and
Mm-hmm.
like the wedding planning process, all that stuff. But this dress was just not, the dress was not dressing. And like I said, cuz made sure at the end of the day, even if she had to go buy me another dress, she was gonna make sure that I was together. But the funny thing is, everybody in the wedding party was so stressed out about me in this dress that we forgot to have fun. And that's where like you come in, Bree. Like you always make sure like she got off the plane, she was lit. Like, y'all, what we doing? Where we at? What's going on? We gotta figure this thing out. And like I always appreciate that about Bree, because there have always been moments where there have been stressful, heightened sadness, but Bree comes in and just changes the dynamic of the room, and I appreciate that about you always. So get you somebody like that. Get you a Brianka, okay?
Listen,
Get you a
because
Brianka.
I came there to celebrate you and the husband's love. So I'm just like, hey, in my mind, a wedding is a party.
It's a party,
So I'm just like,
and the party was had.
everybody's here. You know what I'm saying? At that point, somewhat. Everybody was there. Everybody who you had asked to be in your wedding was there.
Yeah.
And everybody had their dress, all that good stuff. So
Mm.
it was just, and also I was caught off guard. Like I was like, you know, I saw your friends. And so I was like, oh, I haven't seen them in such a long time. Like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen them since the bachelorette party.
Right.
It's going to be just like, my mom was like, oh, it's like bachelorette party part 2.
And
then that's crazy. Wow. Like, that's really, so, like, the dress might not even be ready. But do we have champagne or do we have brown? Like, what are we working with now?
What do we
I need you to sober up. I need you to sober up. No, it's too late. Can't do that.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow looks better.
Better.
But yeah, and it was like the fascinators were not working out.
That was dead.
Yep.
That's all right. Because, like I said, once my mother was like, she was like, well, we're going to have to start a little late because the transportation and get the people from the hotel. I said,
yep.
I said, is Lyman here?
Correct.
He said, yeah. I said, well, let's get the wedding started. That's all. As long as he is here,
right.
we about to start this thing because we on a time crunch. And
correct.
Money is being
right. Like we are not delaying anything for you to ask for some extra money. I don't have it.
And so you know what? It's funny because Selim was like, we just want to make sure that all the people that need to be here will be here. I said, is Lyman here? That's all I care about, Selim. I don't care about none of that.
You know, he's we just want together.
Right.
Woosah. It's gonna be all right. Everybody's alive. Everybody's here.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was an interesting day.
But yeah,
we should do an episode on that whole day. That whole
okay, girl. No.
My Lord. It was
correct. But yeah, so that is our episode. Again, guys, our merch is online. And we have an ebook that
is coming out.
Will be live soon. And it's basically about empowerment, inspirational, keeping you on track and asking you those questions that you probably don't ask yourself on, a regular basis, just really getting you to think about your life and where you want to go. So yeah, it's an amazing ebook in my opinion. Okay. So
it's amazing. We're excited about it.
So exciting. We worked very hard on it, and we definitely we worked very hard on it. And we put a lot of time and effort into this ebook, and it's kind of like our little baby. So I'm just really excited to release it and give it out to the public. So yeah, so check out our website, look at our merch, and then also listen to us on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, all of the podcast platforms. Download, and give us a review. That'd be even better, so we know that y'all are definitely feeling your girls.
Now, Bebe wants to say hello to the people. Are you okay with that? Little Landon?
Yes. Okay. I was like, Bebe.
Okay, hold on. Landon! Just so y'all know, Landon talking about something. Can you put me on the podcast? I want to be famous. Landon!
You is being hello.
What they got?
Country.
Come here. You want to say hi on the podcast? Come on over here. Put your head down here. Say hi to the people. Say hey, people.
Hi. That's all you gotta say?
All you gotta say? You got something inspirational you want to say?
Yeah.
You ain't got nothing inspirational you want to say to the people. You sure? Let them see your head. Okay. Tell the people hello. Tell everybody have a good day.
Have a good day.
All right. Say, girl, she did that. Say, girl, she did